Okay, Psych class, welcome to video number 2 for Unit 2B, talking about drugs and their effects on our level of consciousness. So let's look at the definition of psychoactive drug. A psychoactive drug is going to be any chemical substance that alters perceptions or moods. One of the questions that was posed on the survey post Unit 2A quiz was, why are some people addicted to drugs and others aren't? Great question, right? A drug's effects are going to depend not only on the biological effects of the drug, but it's also based on the user's psychological expectations, which can vary from culture to culture and vary from person to person. And so we'll discuss that in our discussion of this in class. But the DSM, or the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, it's the guidelines that psychologists would use to determine whether or not somebody was dealing with a substance abuse disorder, would label these sorts of things as when a person crosses the line from use to abuse. Failure to meet obligations, repeated use in situations where it's physically dangerous, continued use despite problems caused by the substance, and repeated substance-related legal problems would be an indication that we've crossed the line from recreational use to a drug problem. Some vocab words that you will want to become familiar with concerning our discussion of drugs and consciousness. Tolerance is the diminishing effect of a drug with regular use, and as a result, that means that there's a larger dose of that drug is required in order for that person to experience, their euphoric high. That's going to usually lead to compulsive drug craving and use, or an addiction, because without that dose of the drug, we have physical discomfort and distress following the discontinuing of the drug, which is called withdrawal. And so it's this vicious cycle. To achieve the high, you need more and more of the drug because of tolerance, which means that if you try to stop, your withdrawal symptoms are worse, which means that people usually start taking up the drug habit again. And that is the vicious cycle of drug addiction. But not all dependence is created equal. We can talk about the physiological need for the drug, which is marked by that withdrawal. That's the physical dependence. But even if you can kick a physical dependence of the drug, that doesn't mean that you're not addicted. There's also a psychological dependence. That's a person's mental need for the drug, usually as a result of that drug leading to some form of escapism. And relieving negative feelings, or allowing the person to temporarily forget about negative situations in life. It's like a defensive coping skill. Okay. Substance dependence, again in the DSM, 3 or more of these would indicate a dependence on a drug. Tolerance and withdrawal being the two biggest. Taking a substance longer or in greater amounts than is needed, little desire or effort to regulate the use. This one's crucial, much time devoted to obtaining the substance, to kind of like it becomes an obsession. Normal activities have been abandoned or reduced, and continued use despite the knowledge that it's actually making problems worse for the individual would be good indications that there is a dependence on a drug. Okay, health class review here, but in addition, you will get into the details of what's happening in the brain when we do our web quest, our mouse party web quest, so stay tuned. But just a quick review, the 3 main categories of psychoactive drugs. We have depressants, stimulants, and hallucinogens. Now, they all work at the brain synapses, those junctions between neurons, and they're going to work by either stimulating, inhibiting, or mimicking the activity of the neurotransmitters that naturally occur in our brains and nervous systems. And so, just as again a quick review, depressants are anything that calm or suppress neural activity and slow body functions. Common examples of depressants are alcohol, barbiturates, and opiates. Stimulants are going to be anything that excites neural activity and speeds up body functions. These tend to be where the real problems lie in the United States, with caffeine and nicotine being the 2 most widely abused psychoactive drugs out there. Just because they're legal doesn't mean that they're not psychoactive drugs. And so other examples would include amphetamines, cocaine, and ecstasy. Ecstasy is a stimulant and a mild hallucinogen, and so sometimes you'll see it listed under the hallucinogens as well. Hallucinogens would be any psychedelic drug that distorts our perceptions and evokes sensory images without any sort of sensory input. Marijuana is a mild hallucinogen. Acid or LSD is probably the most prevalent example of a true hallucinogen. Hallucinogens will sometimes give people near-death experiences, which is an altered state of consciousness that's reported after like a close brush with death. And so that may be similar to these drug-induced hallucinations, where people say they see the light or they were floating outside their body. On a neurological level, drug-induced hallucinations and near-death experiences are probably kind of the same on a neurological level, which is kind of interesting. Okay, and so here's just kind of a quick little reference guide to the psychoactive drugs. Don't feel obligated to write this down, and that you'll learn all of this when we do our web quest over the different drugs and their effects on our brain chemistry and our levels of consciousness. So now you have the background information you need for that web quest. Bring any questions you may have to class over drugs and consciousness. And as always, thanks for listening.